Hey guys, this is John from US Dash Camera. Today I got a top 5 list of my favorite dash cameras coming into the New Year's on 2017. So I just want to point out that these are just my opinion. It's all based on cameras I've used. There's a lot of cameras out there that I haven't used. I'm sure there's a lot of great ones I haven't used. And since it's my opinion, I should point out that I personally like stealthy cameras. I think parking mode is very important. And if it was going to be a front and rear camera, I would use a 2-channel system over 2 single-channel cameras. I like just having one memory card. So these cameras are going to range from really expensive high-end cameras like this one I'm showing you right now, the Thinkware, to some cheaper cameras. So let's get started. So the Thinkware F770 is actually the camera I currently use in my truck. So what I really like about it is it's got a really stealthy design with no LCD screen. But instead of having an LCD screen, it does have built-in Wi-Fi, so you can download the iOS or Android app, and you can change the settings from the app. You can also copy files to your phone, that way you don't ever have to take the memory card out. Now, what I really like about this camera is it does have a rear camera option, and the rear camera is also full 1080p, and this camera features a really good parking mode. With parking modes, it's important to have a buffered video, so if you sense motion or G-shock, then it'll actually save 10 seconds prior instead of the moment it senses something. Some cheaper cameras won't actually start recording until several seconds after, so that's sort of a awesome feature that I really like about this camera, and a lot of the Korean cameras have this buffered parking mode. So while it's in parking mode, it's not always recording, and that's why that buffered recording is important. You don't want to be constantly recording when your car is off, because then you might end up with 8 hours of nothing anytime you go to work. So you only want to record the important stuff when your car's off. Now overall, the video quality is pretty good for a 2-channel system. Like I said, it's 1080p in the rear also. The night quality is quite good for a 2-channel system, and overall I'm very satisfied, enough to use it myself. Now one really cool feature that other cameras don't have is when you get back into your car, it'll actually, with an audio alert, tell you how many times it detected motion or a G-shock. So that would help you know if, say for example, someone hit your car when you were in the mall. Because when you get up to your car, you might not even notice that there's a small dent in your car, so that's a really cool feature. Now, the downsides, I would say, it's a really expensive camera. It's around $400, give or take. That's obviously going to be an issue for a lot of people. One other thing I wasn't a fan of is it does require an ACC and battery connection to use parking mode, and that's sort of another whole other issue, but check out the review down below. Now the second camera I want to touch on is the BlackVue DR650S 2-channel. Now, I used the 650GW, which is an older version, but the S is basically the same thing, but with a cloud feature, which I will touch on. But basically, I used the 650 series for about 2 years. It was my favorite camera until the Thinkware replaced it. And I don't think the Thinkware is necessarily better, but it does have some features that I preferred. So, the BlackVue, just like the Thinkware, has a stealthy design, no LCD screen. It uses Wi-Fi and an iOS or Android app just like the Thinkware. Also has built-in GPS. It also has the parking mode with buffered video with motion or G-shock detection. But it doesn't have the audio alert for how many times it detected motion or G-shocks while you were parked. So that's something that the Thinkware only has. Both cameras though do have audio alerts for when it's turning on, when the memory card needs to be formatted, when it's switching to parking mode, so I like that feature in both of them. Now the biggest issue with the BlackVue camera is it only has 720p in the rear camera, so that's definitely a con because you'd ideally want to have just as good video quality in the back if you could. The video quality is also pretty decent. It's not going to be as good as a lot of single-channel cameras, but I would say that the Thinkware does actually have better night quality. But the big standout feature that BlackVue offers is their cloud feature. if you have internet access in your car, like a hotspot, you can actually have it connected to the internet over 4G and through your phone or tablet, and I believe now PC, possibly, you can actually track your car. You can get alerts if your car is hit in a parking lot, and that's something no other camera offers right now, and that's really high tech, but you need that wireless hotspot in your car, so that's definitely a drawback. Not everyone's going to be able to use that feature. That feature might be more targeted for businesses with fleets, because managers or whoever could actually monitor live video or even use two-way communication through the app, so that's pretty impressive. Now, like I said, this does have the buffered parking mode with motion and G-shock detection, and just like Thinkware, I think that's a very important feature, and that's why it was one of my favorite cameras for so long. But one thing this camera does have, or offers, as a add-on, is an IR camera. So here you can see I'm recording inside my car, but once it's dark, the IR lights kick in and you get some pretty good night vision. So this could offer you some protection from people breaking into your car. You might be able to get a face and give that to the police. So now another really stealthy camera I want to talk about is the Street Guardian SG ZC12RC. As you can see here, the camera is actually separate from the main body. Now the main body does have an LCD screen, but that, for me, that doesn't really matter because I can just hide it somewhere. Now, in addition to having a really stealthy design, I do really like it because it has good video quality. It's only a single channel system, and the video quality is definitely a step up from the two-channel systems I'm used to using. But in addition to the good video quality, it does actually have buffered video, just like the other cameras I've already talked about. Now, the parking mode doesn't work the same way as the other two prior cameras, but if you turn the motion detection on, it'll basically be recording all the time when you're driving. It never misses a beat. But if you have it hardwired and then you park and turn your car off, it'll record anytime it senses motion, and like I said, it does have that 10-second buffer, so you're not going to miss anything. So with this stealthy design, that buffered motion detection, good video quality, I think this is a really awesome option, and I actually still use this camera today. I have it inside my truck. I originally had it installed in my Civic, which I have footage of, but it makes a really good in-car monitor because you can hide the DVR. I originally had it hidden under my car seat, and then that way, if anyone ever broke into my car, they'd be recorded, and hopefully they don't find it under my car seat as long as the cables are hidden well enough under your floorboard or whatever. And since it's buffered, like I mentioned, you can see here, it actually started recording several seconds before I even got to the car. So that's how it could really capture someone breaking into your car. So that's a really cool feature. Now the next camera is another Street Guardian, and it's been around for a while again, but they just actually, I believe last week or so, released a version 3. Now I used the version 1 and 2, and what I really liked about this camera is it does have a stealthy design. It's got a very good 1080p 30 frame per second video quality and excellent night quality. Now it looks just like the A119, which is a very popular cheaper camera, but this does actually have different parts in it, better sensor, better lens, so it's not the same as the A118. Street Guardian has done a very good job of constantly upgrading this camera and actually offering a lot of support on the dashcam talk forums, so this is why it's such a popular camera. So in addition to excellent video quality, especially the night quality, and great support online, it comes with a lot of accessories actually. The version 3 comes with the CPL lens included, comes with a lot of extra mounting plates, comes with even a tool to help you hide the cables while installing the camera. They really go the extra mile. Now there is a GPS included, but It is external, so that's sort of one downside. I'd prefer the GPS to be internal if possible, but the biggest issue with this camera that I have is there's no parking mode at all. I mean, you can leave it hardwired and have it record, but it's not recommended to be constantly recording like that, so that's definitely one big downfall to this camera. So if you don't need parking mode but want excellent video quality, check this one out. Now, another newcomer is the A119. This is the follow-up to the A118, which the previous Street Guardian I mentioned looks a lot like. Now, this one offers a lot of bang for your buck. It's a lot cheaper, but it might not be as much of a complete product as some of the other cameras I've talked about. What's really cool is it does actually have a lens that swivels left and right, if that might be something you need. This also actually has up to 1440p at 30 frames per second and 1080p 60. So a lot of cameras still only have 1080p 30 or 1080p 60, but this one offers even higher resolution. Now, the downside to higher resolution is typically the night quality isn't as good. Supposedly the larger pixels of the 1080p are oftentimes better at picking up low light, so that's definitely a trade-off, and even if you got this camera you might want to use the 1080p 60 instead. But overall, it's a decent camera. It's really affordable. Comes with GPS too. It's external again, but one really cool feature is this camera does actually have audio alerts too, so if the memory card needs to be formatted, it'll actually give you audio alerts for that, so that's pretty cool for an affordable camera. And while there's no parking mode, this camera does seem to be the go-to entry-level camera, so it's definitely worth checking out if you don't want to spend a lot of money. You don't want to spend $200 or $400 on some of the cameras I've mentioned earlier. Now, I said I was going to do top 5, but I gotta add one more because this is the Mobius and I love it so much. It's several years old, and I have several of them actually, and I still use mine today, so it's such a great, dependable camera. There's hardly any special features about it. Basically, it just records 1080p 30, and it never seems to fail. Now, what I really like is it's very versatile. Here you can see I used it with a handlebar mount on my rear view mirror. The way I currently use it now, though, is with a magnet glued onto it, and I use a radar detector mount. And you can get a couple different kind of radar detector mounts, but it makes it really small, really portable, so I use this in my work truck, and sometimes I'm switching trucks, so it's really portable, and this is something that would be great for maybe a rental car or a road trip in a friend's car. It's a really dependable camera, and since it's so small, it's so easy to take with you. You just need the camera, a small mount, and the power cord. Now, the biggest downside is the night quality isn't very good, but like I said, it's so dependable. I gave one to my mother and I trust it, and here you can see this is footage from her car where she actually got into an accident. So this video was able to show that she was in complete control of her car until someone rear-ended her. The car that she ended up hitting, their insurance wanted her to pay, but she was able to say, well, it wasn't actually my fault. So, like I said, it's a cheap camera, a very dependable camera, so I still really love it. So anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. I'm a little disappointed that only 2 of these 6 cameras are new for me this year, but like I said, it's just my personal opinion and based on the cameras I've actually used, so take it as you will. Of course, any of the reviews I've done on these cameras I'll have listed down below with some links, and of course if you're interested in any of these cameras you can find links to purchase these at several different retailers, so check those down below. And of course, if you like this video or my other videos, I'd appreciate it if you hit like and subscribe. As usual, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.